Alrighty. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is jump into the chat, and I'm going to share with you guys the link, which I'm sure you've probably seen by now, which is the Keep Teaching website and all the trainings that we're throwing uh, over all yesterday and today and into tonight. So you have that link, and you can look at those or peruse the Keep Teaching website, and it should have all the updated information about the virus on SMU's campus. Uh, as well as we do have, they did also put up a one page like faculty guide, and in case you guys haven't seen that, I'll put that link in there as well, and when you click it, it just downloads the PDF so that you have them. um, and I just wanted to remind you guys, don't forget, if you haven't already, we did enroll all of the instructors into a Canvas training course. If you log into Canvas and you haven't done it yet, at the top there should be an enroll function or an accept an invite, and you can accept your way into that, and it just has a bunch of different trainings if you want to peruse that and see what's there to be trained on, as well as a quiz where you can test your knowledge to see if you're Canvas savvy or not. I also want to show you guys the help button. So in the global navigation of Canvas, there is this help button down here, and there's a few things to point out. One of the ones is to search Canvas guides, and there are hundreds of guides here that are all curated by instructor themselves, so they're up to date and ready to go. One is Ask the Community. Canvas has a vibrant community of all based of admins and students even, and instructors mainly. The feature ideas in Canvas are a great way to see if you have an idea that can make Canvas better, or see if anybody else has already had the idea and you can vote for them. So you put up ideas for people to vote on, and if people like your idea, they'll vote on it. And the more votes it gets, the more Canvas pays attention. As a matter of fact, most of the recent updates that have come into Canvas and new features have been because of feature ideas proposed by you guys. The last is to point out that there is a hotline and a chat function. Now, you won't see the student version, you'll just see the faculty version. But there is a phone number and a chat version that will get you to a live person, no machines. So you can get help 24/7 from instructor themselves. It's a service that we pay for, and they are Canvas experts. So again, 24/7 phone number and chat. Alrighty. Um, this is my course here, and you notice that I've got all of these different functions on my screen here as part of my navigation. Yours may look different than mine. So if there are some things that are missing, like if you don't have the Zoom one or the Panopto one by pure chance, you can go to Settings and to Navigation. Now, anything that's up on this top bunch here is enabled for your students to see, and anything down in this bottom bunch is disabled. You can change that by just clicking and dragging one up or dragging one down, or clicking on the three dots and disabling something, or at the bottom, enabling it. Just remember that when you're done setting up your navigation the way you want it, click Save at the bottom. All right, so discussions. So there's a bunch of different ways that students interact in your course, and you'll be able to see that in New Analytics. If you click on New Analytics, it breaks down the last week of analytics in here, and there's a little scroll bar where you can scroll back over the different days and see the different interactions. You'll be able to click on any particular day and see the interactions for that day broken down by student. Or you can look down here and see the students and their different interactions, as well as click on resources and see exactly what they were looking at. And it's just a way to keep up with your students' interaction and participation. And that's also what we're going to try and raise the bar on with discussions. So we have three different areas for discussion here. We have the main discussion area, a closed for comments, and a pinned section. And so this is mainly where you'll have your discussions, is in this middle area here. But there is a pin section, so you can pin a particular discussion at the top. It's always pinned at the top. And right now we highly recommend that you do maybe like an open Q&A discussion board where you don't have any dates on it, no timing on it, and it's just open for all the students. They can come in and ask questions, and you'll get pinged if there's a new question asked, and you can respond to the student directly, and the benefit of this is students can talk to other students about things. So they can ask a question, and the student can be like, hey, I asked that question, the answer is, and get back to it before you can even get to it. So it's just a way for them to interact. Down here at the bottom is the closed for comment section. And if you have a due date on your discussion, it'll automatically come down here to the closed if you set it that way. Or you can simply grab it by the handlebars here and drag it around and drag it down to closed for comments, and that'll shut it down. You'll notice here that you have these little, I think they look like little pills, but it has a total number of replies for your discussion and then the number of unread replies. So anytime you come into a discussion, you'll automatically know if you have any new replies you haven't read yet and how many. This little bubble right here lets me know that it's published. And this is an example of one that is not published. If you want to make, you got to make sure that it's published if you want your students to see it. If you happen to be working on it still, like it's a rough draft, you're still working on the details and everything, you can leave it unpublished. But when you're ready to go, you definitely want to publish that for students to be able to interact. This next little icon kind of looks like a bookmark, and it is telling you that you are subscribed to this discussion. And what that means is just that you get a notification anytime there's a new post to the discussion board. It'll let you know that just via a Canvas notification that something new has come in. And then you also have the 3 dots, which exists on almost everything. You can duplicate discussions. If you have like one that's kind of set the way you like it, you're just changing it from week to week, you can use duplicate and then just edit it. Send to is a neat function. That allows you to send your discussion, in this case a discussion. You can also do it with quizzes or assignments, that kind of thing. But you can send it to a colleague. All you got to do is type in their email address, and it'll email them and let them know that you're sharing some content with them. And it'll show up on their side right by their picture. They'll have a little icon that lets them know they've got shared content. They'll click on their icon and go down here to shared content and then be able to import your discussion that you've shared with them. If you want to share one discussion board to another course, like your own course, then you can hit the 3 dots and say copy to, and then you'll be prompted to start, like typing in like ACCT 1301, your other course ID. And then this will copy it over to your other course without having to do course import. And of course, last is to delete. You can get rid of a discussion. If you started working on it, you just don't like it, you want to start over, you can trash it. All right, so to start a discussion, you hit the plus discussion icon up here. And it looks very familiar if you've ever created an assignment or a quiz or a page or anything like that. But up here, you just go ahead and create your title. And then down here, you write all your directions. And there's a lot of normal stuff in here, like bold, italics, left align, right align, so you can make it nicely formatted. But you have some pretty cool stuff, like a table, so you can insert and draw out a 2x2 table or something like that. You can insert media. You can turn things into hyperlinks using a URL from the web. You can insert images. And if you have a URL, you can type in the image directly. Or if you've already got the image picture in your Canvas folder, you can search for it here. And if you need to upload a new picture, you can always do that right there. You have the ability to do math equations, insert YouTube videos, and then this little record icon lets you use the Canvas built-in recorder. It just utilizes your web camera, and you can record right into this box here, and basically give the directions orally. So like if you're teaching a world language class, you can give the directions all in a different language orally, and it'll embed your video right here in this square. And then with this guy here, this has all of our other LTIs built into it. So like if you want to share a file from your box folder, or you've created a video and you have it in Panopto and you want to share that, you can choose that option here. So all that stuff can be put in here. For a discussion, it is usually assigned to the section of your course. If you've cross-listed your course and you have multiple sections, say like you teach DIS 1313 and you teach sections 4, 5, and 6, you would be able to, it would say all sections right here. But if you have this cross-listed, you could hit the down arrow and you would see the different sections individually. So say you had a Monday, Wednesday class and a Tuesday, Thursday class, you may want this discussion only for the Monday, Wednesday class, and you could choose that section there. But if you do not have your courses cross-listed, it will just be the section that belongs to your course by default. And so that's everybody in the class. You can attach a file if you want by clicking Browse right there. And these top 2 options right here are pretty important. And so what they are is they allow threaded replies, which means you can reply to replies, right? Because initially, what you would probably do in the instructions is you'd write about a topic and then you'd ask the students a question, right? And so that's what they have to reply to in the discussion, is to do, talk about either the content or how they feel about something or whatever the case may be. And if you allow threaded replies, that allows students to talk to each other as opposed to just responding to your question directly. They'll be able to respond to each other. And so if you're looking for a really kind of an interactive discussion, um, my example would be and the way I would do it, I did them in my classes, is I would say, okay, you need to post one original thought, right? Reply to my question directly and give me your original thoughts. And then I need you to reply to two other students and, give them advice or talk to them about what they said. And however you want to word that, will change based off of your topic. But if you want to allow threaded replies, and I think it's important to say users must post before seeing replies. So what that means is they need to post their original thought to you directly. And once they post that, then they can see all the other replies. This prevents them from reading all the replies and kind of regurgitating information from other students, right? They have to post their own original thoughts first. If you want to grade your discussion board, you'll need to check this box here to make it graded. Once you make it graded, this stuff will open up down here to allow you to assign points to this discussion board. And if you have assignment groups set up, you can choose what assignment group you want it to go to. So I have one specific for discussions. And you'll notice that it's assigned to everyone in the class by default. This is normal, and this is probably the way you should assign it to the class. But let's say, for example, you get a student who has an exception and they need like a day's extension. What you can do is choose add and then find that student's name. And so you'll notice that this one changed from everyone to everyone else, right? So now you can set two different due dates. So for everybody else, their assignment's going to be due on Friday at 5 p.m. Now you have available and until. Available from means what day can students get in this discussion. You may want to lock it down so that they don't get into it like, skip ahead of all the other students. But you want to kind of keep them on track week by week. So I may not let them in until Monday at 8 a.m. That's the first time that they can get into this discussion. And even though it's due on Friday, I'll let them post until Sunday. And basically what that means is I'm allowing late assignments, right? It was due by Friday, but I'll take late assignments for a couple of days. If you don't want to take late assignments, then all you got to do is make this until date match the due date. And as long as those two match, then that means it's due on Friday, and after Friday, you can't post anymore after 5 p.m. So you'll notice then that this person you've provided the exception to, you could put in a separate due date. So if you give them a one-day extension, so instead of Friday, you can give it Saturday, 5 p.m. And I can make this other stuff match. And so now I've got it set for Saturday at 5 p.m. And for them, it also locks down Saturday at 5 p.m. so they can't post late. So that allows me to give an extension for one particular student, and everybody else has a normal due date. And you can keep going with this if you have multiple exceptions, or if you wanted to break this out by section. One section's due on Wednesday, one section's due on Thursday, that kind of thing. That's what these different boxes will kind of accomplish for you. All you got to do is look in here, and so here's my different sections. You can see how it says course section, and then there's everybody in the class, or section 2 and 3, or I can pick individual students. So that's how you can do multiple sections, multiple students, exceptions, all that kind of stuff. Provide extensions for students, individual students there. Okay, so I'm going to take the graded off just so those boxes will go away. And if you're feeling like it, you can allow students to like the posts and replies, kind of like Facebook there. If you're not doing graded, this won't show up on the students' like syllabus or their to-do list because it doesn't have a due date or a grade. So if you're not going to grade it, but you still want it to show up on their to-do list and know it's there, you can check this box to add it to their to-do list, and you can choose what day you want it to go on their to-do list. All right. So when you get down here at the bottom, you can choose save, and save will not publish it. Means it's just a draft, only you can see it. But if you choose save and publish, then it goes live for students. Based off any dates you might have set in the assignment field. But it is published, allows students to see it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because I've got a few of them created already. So you'll notice my published ones, right? They have the little check mark and green dot here. They're also green. The icon is green. And the unpublished ones, the icons are gray or grayed out. If I go ahead and click on this particular discussion, you'll see that I'm the one that posted the original discussion up here, and it was just for testing. So if you have that reply first option, the students, when they reply just to you, they'll type in this reply field here. They'll get that big box like you had the ability to create before. So they'll have all the same alignment, bold, italics, videos, pictures, equations, YouTube, Panopto, Box. They'll have all those same options to be able to link in information here. And they can even attach files. When they hit post reply, if you had that option turned on to not let them see it until they post, once they hit post, then they'll be able to see all the other students and their postings. So like I said, you can have pictures in here, you can have GIFs in here, you can have video files in here. Okay. Any one of these you could reply to. So if you're looking at a student and you're like, man, I like that car, you can just click reply right below it and simply say, I like that car, and post the reply. Then you can see the reply to the picture right there, and the student will get if their student is subscribed to this, you notice up here in the upper right hand corner, I am subscribed to this discussion board. They'll get a notification that someone's replied to them, and they can come in here and take a look at it. Okay, so with grading though, one caveat to grading is there's no like statistics built around discussions yet. So you can't see that like Masumi posted 20 times and Cassidy posted twice. You can't really see those level of stats. So you need to grade, if you're going to grade it, you need to, find the student, see their post, and you kind of have to make note of it. Even outside here, like there's not really like a speed grader or anything like that. So grading is more about participation and whether or not, if you've got like a little piece of paper, you can say, okay, Mo did an original reply. And so you go here. And so if you go to her original reply, right, to you, you can say open in SpeedGrader. And you can give a quick grade. So that's how and then that's the one student. And let me go back, sorry. And then you can go back to the discussion, and then you look for the next original reply, open in SpeedGrader. And you can see their reply there, you can give them a grade, and then you go back. So it's a little clunky as far as grading goes. You can flip through the students like you normally would up here to see their different replies. So these are all the times that person posted. And you can give a grade. But it's a little different than like assignments and just quizzes where the speed grader is just up on the right hand side. You have to actually go underneath each post or underneath a post in order to open it in SpeedGrader. So discussion satisfies both student to teacher interaction and student to student interaction. So this is a good way to touch students and be able to, kind of keep them going in the course and, let them know that, you kind of have that community feel that you're all talking and interacting with each other, especially if you start posting pictures and things like that, it becomes much more engaging and rich. So someone asked if you have students reply to other students, do you grade them on their posts as well? You can. So if you're you can look at their original post, and then you can see how these people replied to that one. So if you go into SpeedGrader and see like this post got hidden, and I did that on my own, sorry about that. We'll go to somebody who posted and replied. Okay. So here you can see that these are all, posts from Mo, or from that discussion called Mo. And then these are all the posts that this student did. So you'll be able to see the originals and the replies built into there as well. And then someone asked if, because we were showing how to do the exceptions when you assign for a grade, right? We showed how you could do that one student, give them an extension till Saturday or something like that. You can do that in anywhere you can find that assign box. So an assignment, a quiz, a discussion, all of those that you can assign dates to, you can give exceptions to students there, extensions, or assign to, like we had different, if you have your course cross-listed, you can have your Monday, Wednesday stuff due on Wednesday, and your Tuesday, Thursday class due on Thursday, and you can do that by section as well. All right, so the next question is, if we want to have a multiple discussion questions per week, should we make these separate posts, or can we make posts multiple questions on one thread? It's totally up to you. For simplicity's sake, I would say make them separate discussions. But if you just want to have one long thread, as long as you're not grading it, then I don't think that's a problem. If you were trying to grade it with one long thread, it could get a little interesting, try to sort it all out. But yeah, totally your own call. I would make them separate discussions. It makes it easier to find, because you can tell the students by title, and if you have different due dates on it because they're graded, or different due dates on their to-do list, it'll make it easier for them to find as well. All righty. All right, so we blazed through that pretty quick. We only had 30 minutes to do this in. We just have a few minutes left. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to take those.
You can unmute and ask them verbally if you like to.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't see. Oh, somebody unmuted. It's all right. Yeah, if you can't talk or your mic's not working, just put it in the chat.
Okay, maybe I'll just ask. You said if you have different sections put in one section, you can do it, and I saw how you did it. When you schedule Zoom, it's nothing with discussions, but when you schedule Zoom, can you also do it so that each section has a different time?
No.
Okay.
So if you go to the Zoom interaction here and you want to schedule a meeting, it's just going to schedule an open room. Zoom is not assigned to students.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. If there's no other questions, we're going to go ahead and stop the recording for today's session, and we'll end this meeting. And hopefully we'll see you guys in trainings later this afternoon. And OIT is here for you. So if you have questions that are Canvas related, I definitely recommend that hotline or that chat bot to talk to instructor directly 24/7. If you have other questions related, always contact the help desk and we'll get those routed to the appropriate people and answered as soon as possible. All right. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.